In the vast, sun-scorched expanse of New Mexico, the summer of 1947 was marked by an oppressive, shimmering heat. The world was cautiously breathing in the aftermath of a global war, a period of fragile peace and burgeoning paranoia. This era, the dawn of the Cold War, was characterized by a palpable tension that seeped into every corner of American life. It was a time of secrets, where whispers of new technologies and unseen enemies traveled on the wind. Against this backdrop of suspicion, something extraordinary was about to unfold near the quiet town of Roswell. A local rancher named W.W.W. Cassidy Brazel was riding out to check on his sheep after a fierce thunderstorm had passed. The storm had been unusually violent, with crackling lightning that seemed to tear the very fabric of the night sky. As he navigated his familiar property, his eyes caught a glint of something unusual scattered across a wide area. This was not the familiar refuse of the desert. It was something else entirely, something alien to the landscape. He dismounted, his curiosity piqued by the strange collection of debris. There were thin, foil-like sheets of metal, incredibly lightweight yet impossible to dent or burn. When crumpled, this metallic fabric would unfold itself, smoothing out into its original shape without a single crease. There were also small I-beams, marked with strange, indecipherable symbols. The characters resembled no language known on Earth, a series of geometric hieroglyphs that seemed to hold a profound, hidden meaning. Brazel, a practical man of the land, knew this was nothing he had ever encountered before. He gathered some of the material, deciding it was important enough to show it to the authorities. A few days later, he drove into Roswell and reported his find to Sheriff George Wilcox. The sheriff, unsure of what to make of the story, contacted the nearby Roswell Army Airfield. This single phone call set in motion a chain of events that would spark decades of controversy. Major Jesse Marcel, the base's intelligence officer, was tasked with investigating the rancher's claim. He accompanied Brazel back to the debris field, a place that would soon become legendary. Marcel, a veteran of World War II, was stunned by what he saw. The material was unlike any substance he had ever handled. It was otherworldly. He collected a significant amount of the wreckage, loading it into his vehicle. On the drive back, he even stopped at his home to show the bizarre fragments to his wife and young son. His son would later recall the strange, purple-hued symbols on the I-beams for the rest of his life. Convinced of the object's significance, the base commander, Colonel William Blanchard, ordered a press release. On July 8, 1947, the Roswell Daily Record ran a headline that shocked the world. RAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. Stories spread like wildfire, picked up by news wires across the globe. For a brief moment, it seemed the greatest secret in human history had been revealed. The public's imagination was ignited with visions of visitors from other worlds. Then, just as quickly as it began, the story was extinguished. The very next day, the military held a press conference to retract the sensational claim. General Roger Ramey, head of the 8th Air Force in Fort Worth, Texas, took charge of the narrative. He announced that the debris was not from a flying disc, but from a common weather balloon. Major Marcel was ordered to pose for photographs with the newly substituted wreckage. The images showed him holding flimsy rubber and balsa wood sticks, a stark contrast to the materials he had described. His face in the photos was a mask of reluctant compliance, his earlier excitement gone. The official story was sealed, and the Roswell Incident faded from public consciousness for nearly 30 years. The cover-up, if that's what it was, had been ruthlessly efficient. Witnesses were reportedly intimidated into silence, their lives forever changed by what they had seen. Mac Brazel himself later regretted ever reporting his find, stating he wished he had just left it alone. The story, however, refused to die completely, simmering beneath the surface of official history. In the late 1970s, the embers of the Roswell mystery were fanned back into a raging fire. A retired Jesse Marcel, free from his military obligations, decided to break his long silence. He gave interviews stating unequivocally that the weather balloon story was a fabrication, a cover story. Marcel insisted that the material he recovered was not of this earth. His testimony opened the floodgates, encouraging other potential witnesses to come forward. Stories began to emerge that were far more sensational than just a crashed vehicle. Glenn Dennis, a young mortician in Roswell in 1947, claimed he received strange inquiries from the base. He was allegedly asked about the availability of small, child-sized hermetically sealed caskets. He also spoke of a frantic nurse at the base hospital who described seeing non-human bodies. She spoke of small beings with large heads and big, dark eyes, recovered from a second crash site. This nurse, according to Dennis, disappeared shortly after their conversation, transferred to an unknown location. The narrative had now evolved from strange debris to a full-blown alien crash with recovered bodies. Researchers and authors began to piece together a timeline of a vast, intricate government conspiracy. The hidden agenda they proposed was to seize alien technology and reverse engineer it in secret. This theory suggested that the technological leaps of the late 20th century were not entirely our own. Faced with mounting public pressure, the U.S. Air Force decided to reopen the Roswell case in the 1990s. They released a report intended to finally put the alien theories to rest. The report admitted the weather balloon story from 1947 was a cover-up, a stunning confession. However, the truth it offered was not extraterrestrial in nature. The debris, the Air Force now claimed, was from a top-secret program called Project Mogul. Project Mogul used high-altitude balloons equipped with sensitive microphones to listen for Soviet nuclear test detonations. The foil-like material and strange beams were part of these classified listening devices. The secrecy surrounding the project was paramount due to the escalating Cold War tensions. The original flying disc story was a blunder by a local officer, unaware of the project's existence. The subsequent weather balloon story was a cover-up for a cover-up, designed to protect Project Mogul from Soviet intelligence. As for the alien bodies, a second Air Force report offered another prosaic explanation. It suggested that memories of these bodies were confused recollections of anthropomorphic test dummies used in high-altitude parachute drops. These experiments, however, took place in the 1950s, not 1947. This chronological discrepancy did little to satisfy the believers. For them, the Air Force reports were just another layer of disinformation. The hidden agenda they maintained was still the protection of captured alien secrets. The debate continues to this day, a battle between official explanation and popular belief. Was Roswell a case of mistaken identity, a mundane weather device blown off course? Or was it a carefully managed cover-up of a secret military project, a necessary deception in a dangerous time? Or does the truth lie in the most extraordinary possibility of all? Did we, in the summer of 1947, make first contact with a civilization beyond our own? And if so, is the hidden agenda an attempt to prevent a global panic? Or is it to maintain a technological advantage over other nations, derived from an alien gift? The wreckage in the New Mexico desert has long since been cleared away. But the questions it raised continued to echo through the decades. The Roswell Incident remains a powerful modern myth, a testament to our fascination with the unknown. It reflects a deep-seated distrust of official narratives and a yearning for profound truth. The true agenda, whether it was to hide a balloon, a spy project, or visitors from the stars, remains shrouded in secrecy. The desert keeps its secrets well, holding the memory of that strange summer of 1947. The initial report by the Roswell Army Airfield was a moment of unprecedented public disclosure. This admission gave the story an initial credibility that was difficult to completely erase. The military's swift and total retraction created more suspicion than it quelled. Why such a dramatic reversal if it were merely a weather balloon? The pressure on Major Marcel to change his story was immense. He was a man caught between his duty and what he believed to be the truth. The memory medal became one of the most enduring legends of the incident. No known terrestrial material in 1947 was known to possess such properties. The hieroglyphic-like symbols also defied any conventional explanation. They were not Russian, not German, not any script known to military intelligence. The theory of a second crash site added another layer of complexity. This was the site where the main craft and its occupants were allegedly found. Sheriff Wilcox's family later spoke of how he was visited by military officials and sworn to secrecy. The event deeply affected him for the remainder of his life. The cleanup operation conducted by the military was said to be incredibly thorough. They combed the debris field for every last fragment, erasing all evidence. This level of effort seemed excessive for a simple weather balloon. Project Mogul explanation, while plausible, had its own inconsistencies. Many of the balloon arrays in Project Mogul were much larger and cruder than the debris described by Marcel. Could a top-secret project of that magnitude truly remain hidden from the base's own intelligence officer? The timeline of the crash dummies remains the most glaring weakness in the official story. Witnesses to the alleged bodies were describing events in 1947, not the mid-1950s. The government's hidden agenda could be interpreted as a form of paternalism. Perhaps the authorities believed humanity was simply not ready for such a revelation. The cultural and religious implications would have been seismic. The potential for social chaos was a significant and valid concern for leaders of the time. Alternatively, the agenda could be purely military and strategic. Possessing technology decades or centuries ahead of any rival nation is an incalculable advantage. The Cold War was a high-stakes game of technological and ideological supremacy. An alien craft would represent the ultimate trump card in that global contest. The town of Roswell itself has embraced its strange legacy. It has transformed from a sleepy desert town into a major tourist destination. The annual UFO festival draws believers and skeptics from all over the world. The incident has become a cornerstone of a new kind of folklore. It's a story of mystery, power, and the possibility of worlds beyond our own. The truth of what happened in July 1947 may never be fully known. The official documents remain classified, locked away from public view. The key witnesses have all passed away, taking their secrets with them. What remains is a compelling narrative with no final chapter. The hidden agenda, whatever it was, has been a resounding success. It has kept the world guessing for over 75 years. The legacy of Roswell is a question mark hanging over modern history. It challenges our perception of reality and our trust in authority. Ultimately, the Roswell Incident is a story about the power of belief. Whether alien or terrestrial, the event has forever altered our cultural landscape. The silence from the government speaks volumes to those who are listening. Every shred of evidence has been analyzed by generations of researchers. The lack of a definitive piece of wreckage keeps the mystery alive. The story lives on in the space between fact and fiction. It is a modern legend, born in the atomic age and thriving in the information age. The final truth remains just out of reach, a tantalizing and eternal enigma.